We need to be strong in what we proclaim. God bless
Thank you.
We're excited.
Thank you so much. Jim and Joni and all the pastors that are here and all those who have helped today to organize the March for Life New York, we thank you in the name of Jesus. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters from across this great state of New York, which I also call my birthplace, which is also home for me, where I have lived for so many years. And even though just recently Priests for Life headquarters and I moved to Florida, the fact is, we who were born here in New York are always New Yorkers. We always love our state. And it is because we love our state that we do events like we are doing here today. It is because we love our state that we understand that no state in this nation, no matter how liberal, no matter how pro-abortion, no matter how solidly entrenched in the lies and the deceit of the abortion industry, no state in this nation is exempt from the principles of our Declaration of Independence in these United States of America. We are here in New York. You know, I'm glad I grew up in New York. Because, you know, we could have all been from some of the other great states in this nation where pro-life flows with the breeze every day. And there's a beauty in that. And there's a great encouragement in that. But you know what? There's also a temptation in that. There's a danger in that. That you just grow up with your pro-life convictions riding the wave, going along with the tide. But when you grow up in New York, when you live here in this state, you learn how to swim against the tide. And when you learn how to do that, you become strong. You really learn how to swim. When that darkness is deep, you really learn how to be a light. That's what we're doing here today. We're doing this here today because it's not enough that the pro-life states, legislatively and politically, carry the day for us and bring about an end to abortion in this nation. We need a nation in which every state, every square mile, every square inch is pro-life. Because this is not a right that is negotiable. Neither by the Congress nor the Supreme Court nor any of the individual states. We are not looking for a situation in this country where state by state, those people, those legislatures, and those governors can decide whether or not to protect the unborn. The fact of the matter is, nobody has the freedom to decide not to protect the unborn. Excelsior is the motto of our state. And that's what we're saying today as we march. We must go higher than this. We must go higher than where we are now. We must go higher to the point where every life, no matter how small, young, or vulnerable, is protected under the law. And we will not stop until we get to that higher place. Now, brothers and sisters, we're here at the state capitol. And you know, we just had some pro-life battles in here just a few days ago. And I'm sure many of you here are following this very, very closely. But this legislature, as if it were possible, is trying to make abortion even easier to obtain in the state of New York than it already is. It's trying to expand the abortion license even further than it already goes. And yet there was a vote in the Senate committee just the other day in regard to this bill to make abortion even more widely available in New York. And that bill was defeated in the committee. Now, some of the Democrat supporters of this extreme abortion bill said in support of it that we in New York should not let reproductive health go back into the dark ages. This is what these Democrat senators said. That if we prevail in the pro-life cause, reproductive health is going into dark ages. Let me tell you what the dark ages are really like. The dark ages are the ages where people don't know what's inside the womb. Where people don't know what we know today about the unborn child. The dark ages is where you can kill a child to advance yourself in your society. Those are the dark ages. We agree that health care, that society itself needs to be brought out from the dark ages. But there is only one way to do that. And that is to bow and to kneel with reverence before the gift of every individual human life. And to recognize what our founding fathers recognized, that this is not a right that we give to one another or that government gives to us. This is a right coming to us from God and belonging to us by virtue not of a court or a Congress or a governor, but of our humanity itself. That's why we continue, brothers and sisters. That's why we march. That's why we rally. That's why we educate. That's why we continue to move forward. That's why we are facing now in 2018 a midterm election that is more important than any midterm election we've had. If you look back since the time of Roe versus Wade, the times in our nation when significant pro-life legislation has been passed and enacted and upheld on the federal level have been those times when both the House and the Senate and the White House have been under the control of the political party in America that stands for the inalienable right to life of the child, the Republican Party. Like it or not, the political progress of this movement right now requires that we stand with the party that is pro-life. I myself am not registered with either of the major political parties. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the point of the fact is that politically, in this midterm election, we need to give our president the strength and the tools he needs in the Congress to enact the pro-life legislation he is ready to sign, to put into the federal courts the judges he is nominating, to put onto the Supreme Court the justices that he will nominate when there is a vacancy. By the way, I don't know if you heard the news just a couple of hours ago. The Supreme Court released its decision in the case out of Colorado of the baker, the cake baker who would not design a custom cake for a gay marriage, and the court ruled in favor of the rights of that baker. And the court and the high court will continue to rule in favor of our freedoms. The High Court will continue to rule in favor of our values. The High Court will continue to rule in favor of life if and only if in this midterm election we give to President Trump larger margins of pro-life majorities in the House and in the Senate. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters, about this election. We're in the state of New York. We know the challenges we face politically in this state. But every single race, every House race in the House of Representatives, for example, we must nationalize every race. Here's what I mean. Of course, obviously, our representatives deal with local issues that impact you and me every day. But we must bring to the attention of the voters that we can influence that every one of these races has national implications, because every House member that we elect is either going to move that entire Congress, and therefore the entire nation, legislatively, either in the direction of a platform that says that the rights of the child may not be infringed by the state, that is the Republican platform, or a platform that says abortion on demand and paid for with tax dollars, and that's the Democrat platform. Every single race must be nationalized, and that's how we win these elections. Show people the national significance of these issues. And furthermore, brothers and sisters, we must make it clear, starting, I say starting here in New York, we must brand the Democrats. They are the party of death. They are the party that believes in a position that Pope St. John Paul II had something to say about. If you read what he said in Evangelium Vitae, the Gospel of Life, he said that when a nation legalizes abortion, it may have the appearance of doing so democratically, it may have the appearance of legality, but that action is a tragic caricature of legality. It has the appearance, but it betrays democratic principles at their foundation, because the state is no longer the place where everyone can find a common home, no longer the place where the weak are defended from the strong, but rather now the place where the strong can kill the weak. And that, he said, means that the disintegration of the state has begun. That, he said, is the death of true freedom. And he called a nation that does that a tyrant state. Those are not my words. Those are the words of John Paul II. And so I declare to you today, we're going to make progress in this election. We're going to make progress in this movement when we have the courage to stand up and say that the Democratic Party is in favor of a tyrant state. That is their philosophy. That is their platform. That is their effort and their goal. And some people listening to me right now, we're broadcasting on Facebook, and where lots of you are taking videos and recording and whatnot. I know what a lot of people are going to say to me, because they've said it in the past. Why are you as a priest being so political? Why are you as a priest being so partisan? Well, there's a very simple reason. Someone over here just said it. I'm an American. And I'm a believer in the scriptures. And I'm also a human being who can think through enough sentences to realize that when a politician can't respect the life of a little baby, neither can he or she respect my life or yours. And that we have to elect in this country public servants who know the difference between serving the public and killing the public. And if they don't know that difference, they don't belong in public office. And this message must be proclaimed by each of us in all the circles of communication that we can proclaim it, and it must be proclaimed from the pulpits of the United States of America. And some people will still come to me and say, "Oh, Father Frank, why are you and Priest for Life being so political?" Well, let me tell you something. If what I am saying hurts a particular political party, denigrates a particular political party, harms a particular political candidate in his or her bid for public office, then I say to you, whose fault is that? What I am talking about is the principle and the duty of government to protect innocent life. The only way that that is going to hurt a candidate or hurt a party is if that candidate and that party take the wrong position in regard to respecting life. tell me that it's my fault. Don't you dare tell me that I'm infringing in politics where I shouldn't be. You say to the Democrats and you say to those candidates, get your head screwed on straight and start protecting human life. I'm not going to sit back and say that I'm going to be neutral when we've got a powerful party in this nation saying they want to destroy these babies. We cannot be neutral. Neutrality in a situation like we are in today in America is a myth. There is no room for neutrality by the church or by any of us. We are going to stand on the principles that this nation was founded on, and we are going to stand on the principles of the gospel of Jesus Christ. When I stand up and say that a public servant needs to know the difference between serving the public and killing the public, and that if they don't belong in public office, I am not preaching a political party platform. I am preaching the gospel of